Hey, criminals! So welcome back to Fair from Friday for day 11 of 12 days of murder. We are going back to Illinois. Specifically, we are going to the city, lesser known city of Alton. This case revolves kind of like diabetes because our victim had diabetes and her death was preventable, and they definitely had the financial means to buy said things that would have saved our victim's life, and so because they didn't, that's why I'm covering this case. So just for context on that, heads up. So as usual, if anybody knows the victim or the killer, as always, let me know in the comments down below. Sources down below as always. And so with that being said, I'm gonna quit my rambling and let's go and get started. So Amber Lynn Woosley, who was the mother, she was born December 7th, 1979. She meets a guy by the name of Zach, who apparently was an engineer, and they get married in March of 2002. So their oldest child apparently was a daughter named Emily, who was Emily Ilk Rose Hampshire, who was born October 22nd, 2004. They then had another daughter named Hope, who sadly was born and died on May 27th, 2007. And then they have their youngest child named Ethan, born 2009. So in October of 2013, Emily is officially diagnosed with diabetes. So obviously it's not life-threatening, thanks to the materials that we have now. But obviously there's things that you have to do in order to maintain it so that way you can have a long life, because obviously that was the goal because she was a teenager. A year after her diagnosis, a doctor would warn her, hey, you gotta keep track of her diet, make sure her sugar's low, all the stuff you normally do for a person who has diabetes. That's the last recorded doctor visit that Emily had. In 2016, Amber apparently had to fill out a form for Emily, so I assume for school. And obviously, if you had something serious like diabetes or something else that you know about, you need to record that now. And of course, she never had recorded it. Somehow, it gets to the school that Emily worked at that, hey, this child has diabetes, which, I'm glad it did. Unfortunately, later on, Amber at some point actually starts working at the same school that Emily is at, and she actually says, hey, that diabetes is a false diagnosis. Go ahead and take that off the record. My child doesn't have diabetes. So then in February of 2018, Amber takes Emily to a facility basically claiming that she has flu-like symptoms because Emily, I guess, wasn't feeling well. She then is transferred to a children's hospital. Then given the things that you would need, the things basically that you would need if you have diabetes, and basically, try to keep it up because, again, this is not something you should really be ignoring. And then apparently there's follow-up appointments you're supposed to have after that, I guess, to make sure that she was doing what she was supposed to be doing. And of course, Amber canceled those, but she canceled 3 of them. So on November 1st, Amber would call 911, basically say that Emily was found unresponsive. She was rushed to the hospital where she sadly had died 2 days later from the condition that you see on the screen. I'm just going to put it on the screen because I don't want to mispronounce it, and somebody be upset that I had pronounced it incorrectly. So hospital staff at the hospital that Emily died at, they essentially asked Amber, since you're the mom, hey, has she ever been diagnosed with diabetes? Because it's one thing if they would never diagnose it and die from this, because that would be tragic. But it's another thing if you knew and they still died from this, because she's a minor, she's under your care. So then Amber apparently refuses to give them the official diagnosis papers, which she's supposed to have. They are able, luckily, to find the records anyway. She is charged with hiding the medication that Emily needed and ignoring medical advice. She was put on $100,000 bond, but of course, this being Illinois, you only had to pay 10%, and so she only had to put down $10,000. So she was released. It came out that apparently she also had diabetes, and that her mother and grandmother had it. The grandmother had died as a result from said diabetes, and so apparently, I guess she just thought that if she ignored it, that Emily, her daughter, would not suffer any consequences if you don't keep up with your diabetes. And so Amber, as a result for not taking care of her diabetes, she went ahead to get apparently her legs amputated because lack of blood flow, and so I guess there was no blood going where it needs to go, so it just had to get cut off. So now she is amputated essentially. Tragic little fact about the story: apparently the youngest child, Ethan, the one that's still alive out of the 3 of them, the one that I mentioned, he apparently thought that he had killed Emily with the flu, because apparently she had flu-like symptoms in the days before she died, and he actually had the flu around the time that she would have caught it, right? So in his little mind, he's thinking that he killed his own sister. So then, of course, they go to trial. Defense asks for probation because, they got to ask for the lightest sentence for their client, the client be doing the most heinous things. And then the prosecution apparently asked for 14 years because that's the most, I guess, she could legally get for what she had done. So she was the reason why Emily's no longer here with us. So then she winds up getting sentenced to 7 years. with 2 years with supervised release, and that was in 2021. So, and of course, I guess she has since filed for an appeal because 7 years for the murder of your daughter is, I guess, a little bit too long for her. And I've not seen an update on that. However, I did go to the Illinois Department of Corrections, and it says she's still in there at the time I'm recording this video. So it looks like she's still in there. So that's good on that until she finishes out her 7 years, which of course that's not even enough for the life that Emily had, but it is what it is. So that being said, like I said, if you knew the victim or the killer, definitely let me know. And I guess this was a murder that was caused by not taking care of your child that has diabetes that you knew about. So that being said, I cover fair females 3 times a week. Subscribe for more fair females. I'll see you guys next one. Bye. I bet, think it's something